So you just walked away from your federal job, or maybe the federal job walked away from you due to the recent layoffs. You don't just have your TSP, but you need to consider what you should do with your first pension because you may have a cash value in there that you can either roll over or just get a refund. What makes more sense? It's going to depend entirely on your age and how long you work for the federal government. And remember that the first pension you contributed was in after tax dollars, but the balance also comes with the interests that are not yet taxed. So, should you roll your funds over into a Roth IRA and move the interest into your TSP, or do you just leave it in there? Can you cash out? And if you do, is the government going to hit you with some crazy tax bill? Let me give you the breakdown. Now, to kick things off, and this is really important, let's address eligibility. If you've got less than 5 years of service, you're not qualified for a future pension. This means leaving your money in FERS is not exactly the smartest move. You might as well request a refund and put that money to a better use. But if you've got 5 years or more, you've technically earned a pension. So you could just leave it alone and wait until you're 62 to start collecting. But is that the best move if you're 10 or 20 years out? So let's say you did exactly 5 years with a high three average of $80,000 and you left a job at the age of 42 with the 4.4% contribution rate under first fray. So you're still 20 years away from the age 62 requirement. So if you multiply $80,000 by 1% because it was less than 20 years of service and retiring under the age of 62, then you want to multiply by 5 years of credible service. And that's going to give you $4,000 a year in pension income. And that's about $330 a month in pension income when you turn 62. And remember, the cost of living adjustments or COLA is not going to be provided until you hit age 62, except for disability, survivor benefits, and other special provision requirements. So if the annual inflation rate is, let's say, 2% a year, and you're still 20 years out from age 62, that's a 40% COLA that you're going to miss out. And you can just imagine what inflation is going to be like in 20 years, right? And this is where people get tripped up. Some of you might think, well, I work for the government and I should just leave my money in the system. But hold up. What if you never go back to federal service? That pension might not be worth much to you 20 years from now, and you could have put that money to work somewhere else. But on the flip side, if you think you might return to a federal job later, leaving your contributions in FERS means you can pick up where you left off. This is where you're going to have to debate with yourself to decide whether you want to come back to the federal government later on in your career. Now, if you decided to take out your contributions, what are your options? One, you can cash out in a lump sum, like I talked about earlier, or two, choose deferred retirement, which means you let them sit and collect dust until retirement age. And that is if you've got at least 5 years of credible service. Now, back in the day, if you took that refund, that money was gone for good, no takesy backsies, no second chances. But thanks to a rule change in 2009, shout out to Public Law 111-84, if you ever rejoin the federal workforce, you can actually repay that refund and get credit for your previous service. And if you decide to take the money out, you can fill out what's called the SF Form 3106, and it's the application for a refund of retirement deductions you use to ask the government to give you back the money you put into your first retirement account. In other words, this form is your official request to say, hey, I'm leaving and I like my retirement contributions and interest back. And this is a crucial process because it tells the government where to send your money and helps them figure out how much you're owed. So now, after sending in your SF Form 3106 and you're wondering, where's my money? Here's how the payout works. First, after the Office of Personnel Management or the OPM process your form, they'll calculate the total amount you're owed. The amount consists of your contributions to the first retirement system and any accrued interest. Now, here's the important part. How you get paid depends on what you requested on the form. For direct deposit, this is the most common method and often the fastest way to receive your refund. You provide your bank account information on the form, and OPM electronically transfers the money directly into your account. It's like an electronic paycheck, but for your retirement contributions. And then there's the mailing check method. And if you don't want direct deposit for any reason, or if there's an issue with your bank information, OPM will send you a check in the mail. And this might take a little longer than direct deposit since it has to go through the mailing system. Now, remember that the interest portion of your refund is taxable. So OPM will typically provide you with the necessary tax documentation that shows the amount of taxable interest you received. And just keep in mind that you'll need this information when you file your taxes. And on the same SF Form 3106, you have the option to roll over the interest portion of your refund to a TSP. And again, this is assuming that you have at least $200 in first pension balance. Per the OPM website, the taxable portion of your first pension can be rolled over into the TSP without the 20% tax withholding. In the past, you had to fill out a TSP 60 or TSP 60R, but now you can just log into your TSP website and start a rollover request. However, and this is a big however, TSP does not accept the contribution portion or the after-tax portion of your first refund. So what can you do with the contribution portion of your first pension refund since the TSP does not accept it? Instead of getting a direct refund to your bank account, you can put it in your Roth IRA. And remember that your first contributions were already taxed when they came out of your paycheck. Rolling them into a Roth IRA means that money can now grow completely tax-free, which is like giving your future self a huge financial high five. And keep in mind that because it's a rollover, it does not count towards the annual contribution limit. You also have to be aware that the processing time can be brutally slow. And we're talking about 6 to 8 months, sometimes 9 months before you can see a dime. And that's half a year minimum before your money actually lands in your account. And if you were hoping for quick cash, I hate to break it to you, but OPM operates on government time. Now, here's the thing. If there's something wrong with your paperwork, OPM will send it back and adding even more delays. So make sure you triple check everything. And did you sign all the right spots? Did you include a spouse notification form or the SF 3106A if you're married or recently divorced? Because if you miss even one little detail, your request could get stuck on someone's desk. Now, if you decide to take a refund of your first contributions, there's one key thing to keep in mind, and that's the federal tax withholding for the interest portion. And while your original contributions were after-tax dollars and won't be taxed again, any interest earned on those contributions is taxable by the federal government and the state government if you're living in a state with a state income tax. So by default, the government automatically withholds 20% of the taxable portion, which is the interest earned before sending you the refund. That means if you were expecting, say, $5,000 and a portion of that is in interest, you'll see a chunk of it get taken out before it gets to your bank account. And that 20% sometimes may not be enough if your income puts you above the 22% marginal tax rate. Because if your taxable income is $70,000 this year from the new job you got as a single individual, and let's say you're getting $2,000 in interest back from the first pension, then your total taxable income is now going to be $72,000, which is going to put you in the 22% federal marginal tax rate. Again, you have to keep both the state and federal income taxes in mind if you're living in a state that comes with the state income tax. So if you're going through a layoff from the federal service, don't just ignore your first pension and hope for the best. You should be able to see how much you have contributed to the first pension just by looking at your latest pay stub. You have options, but if you don't make the right move, you could be missing out on some serious money. Whether you roll it over or take the cash, just make sure you're making a decision that actually benefits you. And this has been another beast of a video, and I hope you got a lot out of it.